Hey, what's up? Thanks, Deconstruction Deacon. Appreciate that. Hey, you guys are being here early. Just getting started. Should be joined by Rat Soup tonight. See if this person wants to come up here. Alright, I just accepted the first guest, but then they dropped, so. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. We're just getting started here. We're gonna take it back to God is evil, Satan is better. Neither are real. If you're new here, give me a follow. If you're familiar, send those heart me's. Early engagement really helps push the stream into the FYP. And this is quite the slow start. Coming up on 5 minutes, haven't hit 2 digits yet. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's the 2 digits. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. Guest box is open. Put on some smooth tunes. Oh, really? Ah, well, that's good to know, because that's how I like start pretty much every stream. If you're not talking and music is playing, they restrict it sometimes. Well, isn't that something? Would I agree that Jesus existed? I'm not going to be able to support the mythicist position very well. I was like really convinced that Jesus existed up until recently when I started hearing some pretty good arguments for mythicism. Now, I'm not a mythicist, but I'm less confident in Jesus' existence. I'm happy to grant that for conversation. A version of Hell is Eternity stuck in an elevator that plays Kenny G. Historical evidence points to him existing. Yeah, I mean, that's what I hear from people who believe in him. And then the people who don't believe in him will say, no. But then I'm not a historian. That's also not what I'm debating tonight. I don't do mythicist debates. And here he is. Rat Soup
There?
is
How's it going?
here, everybody. Rat Soup in the house.
I'm sorry, I just saw your message.
It's all good. Nothing's happened yet. Nothing's
Okay.
happened. Destroyer Incarnate's gonna give us a job, I guess.
Another one?
I guess, man. Man, they say it's hard to get a job these days. Not with people on TikTok around. Not with the TikTok peoples.
They're just handing out free jobs on TikTok now.
Mm-hmm.
Things are scary when like the scam texts that you get go from like free money to free jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Like hot singles in your area to, do you want a job?
Right.
Like not even a hand job, just like a job.
You want to come work for us?
Do you want to?
No surprise, it's just
Do
a
you want to
scam.
come? No. Do you want to come work for us? Oh, because we're paying money. What's the minimum again? Yeah, that we'll do that. Do you remember when? I don't know what the federal minimum wage is. It might still be $7.25, but it was like
It is.
at the time in my state. I was working for $7.25, and I know that like there were some jobs that were offering like $7.50, you know, or $8. And it's like, dude, like way to virtue signal. Like, we're not gonna pay you the minimum. We're gonna pay you like this teeny amount more than the minimum, just so it looks like we're not showing because you know if the employer is paying you the minimum wage, that's them saying if I could pay you less, I would. Anyway, everybody, the guest box is open, and we got a few prompts on the screen. We're joined by Rat Soup tonight. That reminds me, I've got to give you your introduction here. And we got Superfan RS Daughter in the house. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the support. Thanks for being a super fan. So special. I love the people who like keep coming back and are frequent.
It definitely makes you feel more like a community when you see like just names you recognize night after night. It's always good.
Yeah, Holy Honkers, of course. Angry Atheist.
Jam with West says, I mean, I understand not believing God is real, but why is Satan better? You just trolling?
So the Satan is better prompt is like, it's like mildly clickbait, but it is true. Like when you read the Bible, Satan doesn't really do a whole lot. Then God's out here doing genocides and shit, and Satan's just like, he's killing people that he has permission to kill from God. And that's kind of like the long and short of it. He just does what God tells him to do.
Like, who kills more people in the Bible?
Yeah. Yeah, especially like what Satan represents from like a secular culture is not evil either. Like from a secular culture, it's more like liberation, autonomy, you know, freedom. That's what Satan represents.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. That's the idea of Satan is so weird because it's not really. There's not really a consistent biblical idea of Satan either. You know what I mean? Like the snake is never at the beginning is never said to be Satan or Lucifer or anything in particular. Lucifer also isn't really a Satan reference. When you look into it deeper, it's a reference to the god of Tyr, who they would call the kings of their cities gods. I'm sorry, the other way around. They would call the gods of their cities. They refer to them as kings, and then the actual king would be referred to as like a crown prince. So like there's this whole passage talking about Lucifer being brought down low. It's just God in the Bible talking shit about another god. And this gets interpreted as like Satan himself. And then you don't really get like an actual like You get like the evil Satan in Revelation, who's sort of ending the world on God's behest, and then gets thrown into the lake of fire for it. But all of these are all such disconnected ideas.
Yeah, but Satan, it literally means several different things. I think that it fills those different roles in the scripture. Like, it can mean accuser, and it can mean adversary. It can there's probably other ones too that I'm not remembering.
It
But
comes
yeah,
from a Persian court role, but like the court of the Persian king would have a rule called the accuser, Satan is what it would be. And so, like in the book of Job, it's Satan is kind of what is being talked about, a Satan, an accuser. It's like, think of it like an inquisitor or like a loyalty tester for the king or for God.
all right. Devil's advocate, not the
Literally,
devil.
yeah.
Yeah, not the
Like
devil, just the advocate. Yeah.
you know, like how in our system we have a prosecutor to bring crimes to the courts, like to like charge people. You have to have a prosecutor charge you with a
Mhm.
crime. In certain like Roman systems, another citizen had to accuse you of a crime. In the Persian system, they had an accuser, like our prosecutors.
Right, right. Oh, that's interesting shit. That's very fascinating shit. So yeah, Satan seems like he's all right. Like the worst things I ever hear about Satan just feels like propaganda. Like, this side of the people who follow Yahweh are like making things up about Satan and like telling you that. But then when you check the source material, it's like, well, they just have their side picked. You know, they already have a guy that they want to support, so it's like a smear campaign on Satan. Satan doesn't really get that much of a like a rap. He doesn't really get to say much about himself. And then it's like, as you were saying, Rat Soup, it's inconsistent as to whether it's even one character, or if it's even a character that's perceived by the religion at large. It's kind of like the evolution of Santa Claus is the evolution of Satan too. Like Santa went through so many metamorphoses before he became the jolly fat guy that we know and love today. And Satan is, I think, a very similar story.
Do you know there's an old Saint Nicholas story about that he like visited a city that was under siege, and he visited a butcher's shop, and he saw a pickle barrel with bits of meat in it, and realized it was actually human children.
Yeah.
And so he said a prayer over the pickle barrel, and two little babies popped out of the barrel.
I think I think I brought that story up on my live with you present before.
Where did you? Maybe that's what I was thinking of. I think I read a Wikipedia article about it the other day for some reason. Maybe that was why.
Yeah, no, I was looking into that and I was like, what the fuck? Like, is this even so he's like a necromancer. And this is, I mean, this was like way later from the time that he would have been actually alive. You know, he's been like mystified by this legend, but I'm like, dude, I don't know that you'd want to bring them back after that unless you can wipe certain memories from them.
Do they remember the time in the pickle jar?
Dude, well, or like leading up to it, like how long were they alive for?
Yeah.
All right, we got.
I started this new book on slavery in ancient Rome. It's been horrifying. Oh, go. We got some.
Yeah, let's see. Hey, Jay Wood, are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 43. I live in Louisiana.
All right. What God do you believe in?
I'm Christian, so
Okay. Well, what prompt do you want to engage with tonight?
I have one question that nobody will answer. It's not that hard of a question, and you'll have an easy answer for it. But I just can't get anybody to answer it. I'm assuming you're atheist, or you're not atheist? I may be assuming wrong.
I'm an atheist. Yeah.
That was an easy question.
Okay. All right.
That was an easy
No, that's
question.
cool. That's cool. That's cool. But I always ask people about when they have faith. You know what I'm talking about?
Actually, I'm
like-
not sure what you're going to define faith as. Everyone seems to define it a little.
Sure, that's fine. But at least y'all are engaging in it, because I've asked two other people on panels that have come up here, that have come on here and said that they're atheists, and I just ask them about faith, and they just ignore me. So that's great. I'm not saying that I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just like, my point is
Like,
that
what's your question about faith?
I'm choosing to believe.
What was
That's
the question? You never got around to the question.
What's the question?
Nobody can explain faith.
that seems. I mean, that pretty much seems to sum it up. Like, you don't have evidence to like naturally cause you to believe something.
I'm choosing to believe, right?
You just like,
Right.
like you just kind of are like, well, I want to believe this, so I'm just gonna like try to convince myself it's true. That seems like what faith is.
Awesome. Thank you. That's all I needed.
That's
it. Did you want to engage with any of these prompts?
Yeah, that's
so. Do you understand why we would say that is irrational?
because you don't believe. That's why it would be irrational.
You said you use faith as a reason to form beliefs, right? But you said
no. I believe. So, like, I believe. There's a lot of reasons I believe, like me personally.
So you don't have faith as a reason to believe.
So I have faith.
Is that a reason to believe, or do you believe, and that's the reason you have faith? Which way is it?
I believe.
Okay, and because you believe, therefore you have faith?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you believe in, and what's the reasons you initially believe in something?
Well, I mean, I grew up Christian, so I believe in the Bible. I read the Bible, and I think the Bible is real.
Why?
So I'm choosing to believe that that's real.
Like, you don't really choose your beliefs, but why do you believe that?
I do. If I'm saying I want to believe this, then I'm choosing to believe it, so I choose to believe it. Yes.
You could want to believe something, but actually believing is obligatory.
Like,
you can't choose to believe your parents gave you a different name when you were born.
Why does it convince you?
Sure. That's good. I've had personal relationships with God and personal relationships in times of my life that God has touched me. And so that's why I believe in God. That's my personal experience.
So Muhammad also said he had a personal experience with God and was personally touched by God. Should we believe him as well as you?
That's between him and God.
Well, he also shared his message like you're doing here today and told the people that the reason they ought to believe in Allah was because of his personal experience with God. Should we believe his experience over yours because yours seems to contradict his? You know what I mean?
No, mine doesn't contradict. Mine is personal. So if he thinks that he should,
his was personal as well.
It,
that's many people have personal.
Well, then he should.
That's
the way. Then he should. Sure, you're good. Then he should believe that way and preach that way.
Jaywood,
what's the big deal?
Jaywood, think about this. So you've got a personal experience. Muhammad has personal experience. I have my personal experience, and everybody's got their own personal experiences.
Sure.
People who have religious encounters, like most of them are wrong at least, right? Because they can't all be like, they're mutually exclusive. Like, if you have Muslims who have personal experiences that they had with Allah, or maybe like the Prophet Muhammad in a dream or something, they have their personal experiences. But from your purview, they would just be incorrect, though they might be very sincere and be convinced that this is something that's genuinely from God. They could stand on all 10 toes and say, this is 100% true. I know because I experienced it and it's personal, but they're wrong. So how could they know that they're wrong? Just like, how could you know if you might be somebody who fits into that category, who's 100% sure because of a personal experience, but could be wrong?
I didn't say they were wrong. They're probably right.
The point is, not everybody can.
You think that Muslims are probably right? So why aren't you Muslim?
Because I have my connection with another God.
So you believe that Yahweh and Allah are distinct and both real?
Sure, depending on how people experience them, yes.
Wow, that sounds like heresy in both religions.
These are both ultimate creator gods, right? Like, so they claim to be the sole creator of the universe. So they cannot.
I don't know. I have my own personal relationship with God, and I talk to God every day.
You know what a contradiction is, Jaywood?
Yeah, I do. I don't know what other people do. I have my own personal relationship with God.
So what we're saying is your personal relationship with God isn't more valuable than someone else's personal relationship with God, and someone else's personal relationship with God contradicts yours. So it shows that they can both be false. We know they both can't be right. So how can we know that your personal experience has more weight? You know what I mean? Like, what evidence do we have for your experience?
Sure. I never asked you to be a part of my personal relationship with God, so I haven't asked you to be a part of that. So I'm not pushing that on you.
I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you how we should know that what your experience is a good reason to believe in your God, as opposed to just
maybe you should talk to God.
Mental issues.
So, do you think that
Maybe
you should ask God for these types of clarification? Like, if you were to ask God a question, how would God respond to you?
Through my conscience.
Do you think we could get a demonstration of this?
You don't have your own conscience?
No, but he was asking if I could relay the question, if I may. You were asking if I was to ask God something, and how would I get that answer? Am I correct in relaying that?
Yeah, like
How would I get that answer?
How
I would
do
say
you know
I would
the
get to my
answer?
or he may not respond at all. Like I would get to my conscience, or he may not respond at all.
But don't you have aren't you tight with him? Like, aren't you guys homies and stuff? So that he has a relationship with you. It can't be
Yes.
inconvenient for him to respond, because it's effortless for him if he's all powerful, you know.
hmm
So, I mean, why would he just be ghosting you sometimes?
It's not about ghosting. Like I guess that's where we differ on understanding.
That's why he's the Holy Ghost. Oh my God, I just figured it out. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense. I think that's why people don't say Holy Ghost as much anymore. I think it's a little too on
Why?
the nose
Why wouldn't somebody say Holy Ghost?
because they don't want to. They
Like-
want to admit that God's ghosting
I don't
them.
know, man. Like I have my own personal relationship with God. I don't push that on anybody. I don't even tell anybody what's right or wrong, but I talk to God, and me and God talk to each other, and that's me and my personal relationship with Him. I don't know what anybody else does with Him. I don't know what anybody. I don't even go to church, so
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
I used to think that I was having conversations with God too. I realized later on
Sure.
that I was kind of just talking to myself, and I was convincing myself that I was talking to God. How do you know that's not what's going on with you?
Because of faith. The original question I posed to you.
Right. Well,
Right.
so you said you have faith because you believe in something. Now you're saying that you believe in something because you have faith in it.
Mm-hmm. Your faith isn't a
You
good
see the issue with
It's
that?
faith. I believe in faith. I have faith.
You have faith because you
I've
believe
had
in faith.
conviction before, and so I have faith thereof.
A
Not
conviction
telling
is
you
a type
to.
of
I'm just
belief.
telling that's what I believe.
So you're going in a circle here.
Right. So this is like a self-justifying, circular.
There's no self-justifying. It's just like
Yeah.
I believe in God, so I believe in faith. There.
Yeah, and
And the
your
reason you
faith-
believe is because you have faith.
Right, and you believe in God because of your faith, and you have faith because you believe in God in this circle.
Yeah, because I talk to God each day when I pray. Yes. So I have faith that He's
and,
there.
and you know that it's
Yes.
God that you're talking to and not yourself because you just decide to tell yourself that you're talking to God rather than doing any kind of.
Oh no! I mean, yeah. For the most part, yes. That's for the layman. That's what it would mean. But I've had revelations in myself when talking to God that I know that it's God I'm talking to.
I mean,
It's conviction.
you're-
That's how we know.
when you're praying, what's literally happening is it's like a form of
Sure.
meditation. You're deep in thought, so it's
Okay.
like I would expect you to have revelations or epiphanies or breakthroughs while you're praying
Mhm.
because it's like you're meditating. I think that's the literal effect of what's going on. So that doesn't surprise me at
Okay.
all. But if the idea that you're talking to God is, from my purview, it's obviously a fabrication that you've imposed upon yourself.
Okay, that's cool, man. I'm glad you believe that way. That's awesome.
Seems pretty evident that it's the case.
I mean, I have faith otherwise, so
You can, but it's sort of just like having a child having faith that their imaginary friend exists. You know, like they
Sure,
have faith their imaginary
sure.
friend exists because they talk to their
I'll have
imaginary
faith.
friend all
I'll
the
have
time. You
faith
know what I
in
mean?
my imaginary friend exists.
Because you talk to him all the
That's
time.
my stance. That's where
Because
I'm
you
at.
talk to him all the time, you can have faith he exists, right?
Can you
No,
tell me
I've
why?
had conviction that I know he exists, but
Can you tell me why you think that faith is a good pathway to truth? Or do you not care?
well,
about
faith only comes. Oh, people got to believe what they want to believe, right?
No. Because I wanted
No,
to
they
believe in
do.
Christianity, and I couldn't make myself do it. I tried as hard as I could.
Well,
I
then
was
you
not
shouldn't believe in it.
capable. No, I'm not able to.
You shouldn't believe in
choose.
it then.
I'm not able to choose. I don't really want to believe in it anymore. But I did want to. but I'm not able to decide what I believe in. I'm not convinced. Like, you can't convince yourself that 2 + 2 is 5, even if there's like $1 million on the line. Convince yourself that 2 + 2. You can say it all day long, but deep down you don't believe it. You can't convince yourself of it because it's absurd. And I couldn't convince myself of Christianity, regardless of how much I wanted it to be true, because I knew deep down that it's just absurd.
You're right in what you're saying. You're right.
You're okay with your beliefs being absurd?
I'm choosing to believe. That's the difference. That I guess that's the.
Can you choose to
I know what
believe
you're
on
saying.
fire
I actually
right now?
respect. Look, no, hold on. I actually respect what you're saying because I do honestly wholly respect it. Honestly, with the experiences I've had, anecdotal in my life, I am choosing to believe in the Lord. That's my choice. I'm not pressing it on anybody. That is my choice that I'm believing.
Belief
We're
isn't
just-
a choice.
We're just concerned for you, for your sake, because what you're doing is you're telling yourself what you want to be true, regardless of an actual care for what might actually be true. Since this is the kind of thing that cannot be verified, you've told yourself that this is absolutely true without any kind of scrutiny. So I think that this could lead to different ramifications that might be undesirable potentially in the future.
Sure, bro. That may be where it leads to, but that's
But doesn't
with
like,
my experience
be
with
a
the
bad
Holy
thing?
Spirit. That's where I'm at.
why do
that's
you
where I'm at.
choose? Why do you choose to believe in this?
The honest answer is, and you'll laugh at it, but this is the actual 100% honest answer. Conviction.
A conviction is a belief. That doesn't answer much.
But you're asking me. He's asking me this, and he's asking me why I believe what I believe, and I'm telling him.
Like you feel convicted to believe in it.
I've had convictions that have made me believe in it. Yes. Yes.
But this
Yes.
is like
I've
someone
had
asking why
convictions.
you're so smart, and you're saying it's because I'm intelligent.
I don't really understand the answer
No.
either.
No, I'll give you an example. Okay? And this example probably won't make sense, but I'm trying to make it make sense because I'm not asking y'all to believe this way. I'm just trying to tell y'all this is how I believe. Let's say you go into a situation. I don't know what the situation is, but you're with a friend, you go into a situation. And in that situation, whatever it is, you feel very uncomfortable. And you feel not right. That's a conviction.
Okay.
Is that not conviction?
Okay, so what you're telling me
Is that not conviction?
So you're
No.
telling me that your belief in God is faith based on what you're calling conviction, but vibes. You get vibes, and you call that conviction, and then that you decide to put faith in it because of the vibes.
You can call it
I would say
vibes,
that
yeah.
was an
You can
intuition.
call it vibes, yeah. Like, I'll go
the
with
most
you on
charitable
that.
intuition, but the thing is like the
But I'll
intuition is
go-
probably
no,
about
look,
how
I'm
you
a-
grew up more
he's-
than anything else, right?
The host is actually saying good things. Like, I'll go with you on that. Yeah, there's vibes could be a way to put it. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Just
So
kinda
you pick up
yeah.
your vibes from the way you grew
insane.
up, right?
What's that? I didn't hear. I apologize. I didn't hear the last part, honestly. I didn't.
You pick up your vibes from the way you grew up, right? So like
Yeah,
how
a
you
lot
grew
of it
up
comes
is
from
going
the
to
way you're
dictate
raised and
like
the way you
you
grew
know
up.
the food
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like, whether you like spicy food, all those
Sure,
sorts of things.
sure.
But the thing is
Not
you're
arguing,
also
not arguing any
you-
of that with you guys.
well, let me
Like,
finish it at least before you not argue with it. Like say you have something else in your culture though, like say something else that you're taught up to growing up to believing, like a superstition, like
Okay.
whistling outside at night is going to make a rock fall on your head or something. You know, there's like all these
Right.
superstitions you grow up with, and then you can learn as an adult using rational thinking
There's a
and
bunch of
engaging
them.
with the world that some of these things that you grew up like with the vibes that you thought were true are just not really the case. They're just a vibe. So how do you separate childhood vibes like Santa from reality, like actual reality?
I can't answer that, man. I don't know. I'm not going to be.
Fair enough.
I'm not
Well,
going to
Jay
act
Wood,
dumb with you and say I can or anything.
Jaywood, you're a nice enough guy. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. This has
I don't know.
This has been.
You know what I mean?
Yep. You have a good one, man.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Let's give somebody else a chance here. I'm gonna bring up Nihil.kg. He had a lot of background noise. I just realized because it's like very quiet.
Hello?
Hey, are you at least 18?
Yup.
And what god do you believe in, Nihil?
I just believe there's a God.
So you don't?
I do. I believe in a Christian God.
Okay, all right. So, which prompt did you want to engage with tonight?
You said neither are real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you have
I was gonna say
would you have
that.
any problem with me giving an argument proving God's existence?
I would be thrilled if you gave an argument to prove God's existence, because then I would change my mind.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, would you have any problem with it's like weak philosophy out in it?
I mean, well, if there's an issue with it, we'll talk about it for sure. We're not just going to like listen to you and then say, yes, you're right. But you know what I mean? But yeah, if you're right, you're going to be right.
No, I mean, do you have any problem with any philosophical terminology?
Philosophical term.
We'll stop you if we do.
I don't know. Like, yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe.
Yeah, great. Okay. I guess assuming you know the basic argument is premise 1, God has semantic or conceptual conditions. Do you know what these things are?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Okay, when I say God have semantic conditions, it just means it just means that the semantics of the word God, it has a description. It has definable content. Like when we say God, we're referring to God that is omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent, right? We're just describing. This is just us
He has
saying that
attributes.
God isn't this. Yes, we're giving our notion of God. Okay, premise 2, anything with semantic or conceptual conditions exists either as a mere concept, you know what a concept is, just an idea, or as something mind independent.
So, okay, your second premise was anything conceptual can exist as an idea or something mind independent.
Anything with conceptual conditions.
I feel like you can just say concepts to make it a little bit simpler, but I agree with you so far.
Anything with
okay,
conceptual conditions can
either exist as a mere concept or as something mind independent. Would you have any problem with premise 2?
something mind independent. Can you give me an example of? Actually, let me just read this premise again. It's conceptual conditions can either exist mere concept or something. Can you give me an example of something that premise 2 would be describing that is mind independent?
What do you mean?
Like you said,
You
that
want me to
anything
give
with
an example of
conceptual
something that's going to
conditions,
be mind independent?
anything with conceptual conditions can either exist as a mere concept or something mind independent. Can you give me an example of something with conceptual conditions that exists as something mind independent?
Okay, would you mind me using God as an example, or?
Well, that's.
Well, you're
I
trying
mean,
to use this
that's-
for God.
Yeah, that's that would make it circular. Like God, because if
It's
God was
not
the only
really-
example, then there would
okay.
be like a really big special plea, right?
It's not the only example. It's just the example that would be best explained.
Right, but this
Do you
is the
have
thing that you're
anything else
trying
to
to
support
prove.
premise 2?
I could
Premise 2 is just generally not very intuitive. Like if there's
Intuitive or what?
so a premise should be like simple and intuitive, right? Like the sky is blue, I see blue, I'm looking at the sky. You know what I mean? Like it should be something pretty like God has conceptual conditions is pretty intuitive. It's pretty easy to see, yeah, of course God has conceptual conditions, right? So the second one, your second premise, isn't intuitive, so you need to give some defense of it. It's fine if it's not intuitive, but if you can rephrase it to make it more intuitive or simpler, you ought to.
I ought. So are you asking me to reduce my argument?
Well, because
I'm
you
asking
asked-
you to make your argument more coherent.
Yeah, you
More
asked if we
coherent.
agree with the second premise, but I don't know if I do because I just need you to give some kind of example of something that has conceptual conditions that exists as something that's mind independent, because I can't think of one, but I would love to agree with the premise. I just can't think of anything that
I mean,
does
I basically already did in the first premise.
You didn't.
I did. I said God has some conceptual
Yeah, and
conditions. I
God is
explained what
conceptual.
conceptual conditions are.
God is a
What?
mere concept, and we would say God is a mere concept.
that. Yeah.
You take
Yeah, that's our whole point. God is a mere concept. Yeah, God is imaginary. He's fictional.
Like
He
a
exists only in the
unicorn,
realm of the
right?
mind.
Yeah. Like a unicorn has conceptual conditions, but if I were to say that the unicorn exists as something that's mind independent, I'm sort of just like begging the question, like I'm doing circular reasoning, right?
a unicorn.
Yeah, like if I replace God here in this syllogism with a unicorn, then I would just be like defining the unicorn into existence. So it would just be like claiming that the unicorn is something that's mind independent. I guess, do you have a supporting argument for premise 2?
Like when you say supporting argument, you just want the justification for premise 2. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, sure. Wait, what about premise 2?
I
Do
don't
you want me to
think
explain?
it's
Do you want me
not.
to justify the disjunction?
It's not.
You basically need to give an argument for premise 2.
Yeah, well, my contention is it's not clear to me how something with conceptual conditions can exist as something that's mind independent. I think concepts exist only as a result of a mind.
I could see it maybe applying to like art, like maybe like you could say like a chessboard has conceptual conditions, but it's also that it exists mind independently, but it exists because it's a product of a mind. But I don't think that's really where you're trying to say with this,
No,
though. You know
I'm
what I
saying
mean? So
that-
that so it doesn't really seem to apply with what you're saying at all. So like, yeah, he disagrees with premise 2. I kind of disagree with it. And I'm not sure I completely understand what you're trying to say by it even.
No, like, okay, I don't think you're not tracking. I'm not saying something have conceptual conditions. It's gonna exist as something mind independent. I'm saying it can either exist as a mere concept or as something mind independent.
But what if it? What we're saying is, it only seems apparent to us that it can exist as a conceptual, as a concept, like something with conceptual conditions can only exist as a concept, is what seems apparent to us.
Wait, yeah, what's the argument for that? I mean,
Because a conceptual condition is a concept in itself, thus conceptual.
thus conceptual is a concept.
Yes, conceptual things are concept. What are you talking about?
No,
That's just like a tautology.
That's not what I'm defining. That's not what I'm defining a conceptual condition as. I already gave the
Do
definition.
you have a what's
I
do you
said-
have a different
I said
definition?
conceptual
Conceptual and
condition or
concept?
a semantic or semantic condition. Basically the same thing. Okay, a semantic condition just means a term picks out coherent, definable content.
A semantic condition is still conceptual because it's just talking about a definition.
Mm,
It's just talking about it.
yeah, talking about definitions or language. So what was the justification? What was the like support for the
Premise
second
2?
premise? Yeah.
Yeah, what about premise 2?
No, for the fourth time, it's that I don't think that something that is that has conceptual conditions can be something that's mind independent. But I would love for your justification of that to make sense.
You don't think something?
It's not
Okay,
apparent
let
to
me
me.
just. Okay, we could just use what would be a good example? I'm trying not to use God because once again, you said that would be circular.
Hmm.
Definitionally, so yeah.
Dang, that's hard.
Because if God's the only example, like maybe there's another example that you
Okay,
can
I could
find,
take.
but if
What
that's
do
the
you? I
only
could take
example, then
gold.
this
Yeah, I
wouldn't
could
work.
take gold. What do you say? Like the concept of gold. Okay,
Gold?
it has. You would agree that it has some semantic or conceptual conditions, correct?
You talking about, you say gold, like
Yes,
the
literal
element?
gold. Yep, the gold.
Okay. So
It doesn't
gold-
rely on those conditions to exist.
What? Yeah, when I say gold,
Yeah, gold,
gold,
right.
like we can take the concept of gold to be something mind independent. via the fact that we know, like, we
I
know
keep
that
hearing-
gold. I don't know if you wanna. I don't know if you would disagree with this, but it's gonna be taken as like. You shouldn't have any reason to disagree with this. But
The
anyways, yeah,
concept of
you'd agree that
gold-
gold.
The concept
Gold
of
existed before
gold-
like any mind conceived of it.
Right, yeah, gold existed before a mind conceived of it, but the concept of gold requires a mind to conceive of it because it's conceptual.
Mhm.
Right, like
but it's
gold
important
is
not to
a
conflate the
concept.
concept of gold with gold itself. Yeah.
Yeah, gold is not a concept. The concept of gold is a concept.
Wait. Gold is not a concept. The concept of gold.
Right.
What do you think a concept is?
I keep hearing Gould from like Stargate, the bad guys from that.
Like if I had gold in my hand, I wouldn't say that I'm holding a concept in my hand. You see what I'm saying? But like
Wait.
if I'm talking about if I'm conceptualizing gold in my mind, that's a concept.
Like you can't take a page with the concept of blue and paint it blue. You need a physical blue paint to paint the page blue. However, you still have the concept of blue in your mind.
Yes.
But you can't dip your paint in that concept of blue to make a page blue, right? In the same way, the concept of gold is not the gold itself.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a different syllogism? I feel like this is I don't know if you're gonna be able to fix that. We've been stuck on it for a while, you know.
Yeah. I'm like, I was just testing out this argument, but
Check out, there's this really good book I think you'd enjoy, Nahal. It was like one of the earliest, like it's a very good just philosophy book about bringing together a whole bunch of concepts from all over the field of philosophy and like kind of making them fall in line. It's called Knowledge, Reality, and Value. Really, really, really good. And it's mostly built around structuring arguments. So I think you dig it a lot, actually. And it might help you out a ton, too.
I would dig that too. Yeah.
wait, what book?
Knowledge, Reality, and Value. It's by Michael Huemer, Huemer.
Knowledge, reality, and value. How long is it? Is it big? book?
It's not terribly long. I think it's like 400 pages ish.
Okay. Okay. Well, did you have another syllogism you wanted to run by us, or a different style argument, perhaps?
You know, yeah, I think I do have another argument.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Okay, wait, let me pull it up. Like, if you have any,
I don't think God can be the cause of the universe is because all causes must be within time, and time is part of the universe.
Yeah, that's what I say too.
all causes must be within time.
Yeah, like causes, causes are either before or simultaneous to their effects. If God is outside of time, then he's not.
that just
before or
depends on what you
simultaneous to anything, so he can't be a cause.
Depends on what you take causation to be. Like even some philosophers, they argue that causation isn't spatial temporal.
What's the argument?
I don't even know. I just wanted to get that out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people that say a lot of stuff. We just need to, like, in order to understand it, we have to have it broken down for us.
You know who the real asshole philosophers are? Are like the people who are deep skeptics about everything, like like there are legitimate outer sense skeptics who are still out there writing books.
I don't know if I think I'm skeptical about that. I don't know. I think that I might even be skeptical that I'm skeptical. It could be the case that deep down I truly do know that I'm not skeptical, but I'm lying to myself about my skepticism. But I don't know, I'm skeptical about that too. So
Are you sure?
I'm not even sure if I'm me. Maybe I should start saying something like, "You're skeptical of the skeptical." Fuck.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of my own existence, so I'm pretty sure I'm just a figment of your imagination. So you should stop thinking about me and give me
figments
relief.
of each other's imagination. So it's like
Yeah, there we go.
interdependent. It's like symbiotic, co-imaginative. Wait, are we Venom or wait?
Or the
which one of us-
intersubjective reality.
Which one of us is Eddie Brock? Like, which one of us would be Brock? in this?
If I can be Tom Hardy, I'd love to be Brock.
Okay, well, I think Venom's just like generally cool, so I'll be Venom.
We are Venom. You do the voice good.
Anyways, you want the new argument?
Yeah, you ready for some 18 inches of Venom?
What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, we don't need to think about that anymore.
Yeah. Premise 1.
What's your argument?
Premise 1. Mathematical truths are necessary. Premise 2. These necessary truths aren't physical. Premise 3. They're not products of contingent human minds. Premise 4. Necessary truths require a necessarily existing ground. Premise 5. Under naturalism, there's no adequate account of what grounds necessary abstract truths. Why
Sorry,
pure
let me-
mathematics?
I'm trying to jot these down. I just typed out the first one. Mathematical truths are necessary. What's the second one more time?
Okay, I said those necessary truths are not physical.
Necessary truths are not physical. Okay.
Okay. Premise 3. They are not product of contingent human minds.
They are not a product of contingent human.
Hold on, I'm gonna be right
minds.
Okay. Where was I? Premise 5, right?
4.
No. Premise 4. Necessary truths require necessarily existing ground.
Okay, necessary truths require. How'd you phrase that?
Yeah, I said necessary truths require necessarily existing ground.
Okay.
Okay, premise 5. Under naturalism, there's no adequate account of what grounds necessary abstract truths.
There is no account of what grounds. Of what grounds? You said abstract truth?
Yup.
Okay.
Okay, within that same premise, okay, under naturalism, there's no adequate account of what grounds necessary abstract truths or why pure mathematics developed without physical application precisely describes physical reality.
Developed without. You said without physical.
Physical application precisely describes physical reality.
Describes.
Because for the person in the comments, yeah, shift is because mathematical truths are just necessary abstract truths. It's like basically the same thing.
There's more problems with it. Let's just get that everything out and then we'll go to it.
Yeah. So you said that from premise 5 is under naturalism there is no account of what grounds abstract truth or why pure mathematics developed without physical application. You said but describes physical reality.
No, I said why. I said without physical application precisely describes physical reality.
Okay.
Okay, do you want premise 6?
Yep.
Just keep going till we get to the conclusion.
Conclusion is right after this. Shush. Under theism, necessary truths are the content of a necessarily existing rational mind. Their ability to physical
You cut
reality
out.
is expected. Okay, I said under
theism, necessary truths are
the content of a necessarily existing rational mind.
Under theism, not atheism.
Of a necessary truths are the content of a
Necessarily existing rational mind. This is genuinely gibberish. I think this like
It
this
is.
not-
We'll get into it. We'll get back into it though.
Okay. Is it a seventh premise or a conclusion?
I don't think I finished yet. Okay.
Oh.
The applicability to physical reality is expected because the same mind structured both.
Wait, is that the same? Is it the same sentence or under?
It's within the same premise.
Necessary truths are
Put a semicolon.
content of a necessarily existing rational mind, semicolon, and then what?
Rational mind semi. Okay. The applicability to physical reality is expected because the same mind structured both.
The applicability is expected because the necessary. You said the necessary mind.
Structured both. Because the same mind structured both.
The same mind structured both.
Conclusion. The existence, necessity, and applicability of abstract mathematical objects is best explained by theism. This is like a bad argument.
It's just kind of really clunky. So, all right. So the conclusion is one more time. The
Yeah, conclusion. The existence, necessity, and applicability of abstract mathematical objects is best explained by theism.
the existence and applicability is best explained. No, I think I missed something.
Then you can ask me to justify any premise. Or whatever.
Well, your premises contain some contradictions. You say that well, let's go into what a truth is, right? So truth is something that applies to propositions, right? Like there's not an objective abstract thing. A truth is merely a state that a proposition can be. Yeah? And then, but beyond
What do you
that, when
define truth as?
you call it a truth is a state a proposition can be. If a proposition comports with reality, we call it true.
mean,
True isn't something like independent. So, and you also say necessary truths require necessarily existing grounds. This is a key misunderstanding of just what necessary means. If it's necessary, it's self-grounded. It doesn't need any further explanation because it's necessary. So Ford just misunderstands what necessary means, but like regardless of truth. And then those necessary truths are not physical. That's because of what I'm explaining, because truths are inherently conceptual because they apply to propositions. They don't, that doesn't really connect with their mathematical truths. You sort of, there's a little bit of an argument of like mathematical grounding, making a non-physical world. It can lead you to non-physicalism. I would go with you that far. And there's like threads of this throughout these premises scattered about, but it doesn't really connect and complete properly. And even when you go to a non-physicalist worldview, it's not the only, like, you know, that's not the, because you can still potentially be an atheist with a non-physicalist worldview, like a Platonist. You know what I mean? So your argument here pushes for a non-physicalist perspective at best, and I don't think it does a great job of doing that. But that still isn't enough to bring about your conclusion of God being real.
yeah, this is my
Very well
worst
said.
argument. What? Well,
I think one of the key things, your arguments, you should be able to, like I said, for a good argument, every premise should be something that someone agrees with almost automatically. You know what I mean?
yeah, like,
So like
an axiom,
mathematical
right?
truths are necessary is pretty close to being like a good premise. You could say maybe something like mathematics is part of reality or something like that would start bringing you closer to it. And I think you could do things to work on this argument for sure.
Yeah, it's like it has too many commitments. That's why I don't use it.
It kind of does too, yeah. And it's almost two or three different arguments trying to
Okay.
come together. And you should try to. It would be better to have two good simple arguments than one argument that tries to bring two arguments together.
Yeah. Anyway, one last argument for the sake of testing. Okay. This one is short. This one is short. 3 premises only. Okay. Premise 1: every contingent fact has an explanation for its existence. Premise 2: the universe, understood as the big conjunctive contingent fact,
As the big
BCCF.
the big conjunctive.
Yup, contingent fact is a contingent fact. Premise 2: if the universe has an explanation for its existence, and this explanation is not itself a contingent fact, then that explanation is a necessary being, which we call God. Conclusion: therefore, God exists. I don't know. I like this the best out of all of the others.
This is close to a contingency argument that's usually run. I would include a premise that would include necessary things require no explanation, because this one still gets you. Well, then how do you explain God? And you just kind of work in like the necessary being, which we call God, but you have no explanation for why what is necessary needs to be a being, why we need to call it God, and why that God itself is necessary. You know what I mean? So, well, like for instance, and also number 2, the universe understood as a big conjunctive contingent fact. I would say that's fairly controversial.
Yeah, but
I've never really heard of that either. I don't know if that's like a
yeah, because you could just say that via the fact that the universe itself is composed of like contingent entities and events.
Well, there's contingencies within the universe, but that's not the same thing as the universe itself being contingent. You know what I mean? So, like for instance, if time is a part of the universe that could be necessary, and it's still the universe, and it would be necessary and always existing, and require an explanation because it's necessary. You know what I mean?
I could just say like, there's no logical contradiction in saying that the universe. Dang, I forgot.
It's just not parsimonious. Your argument doesn't point to the extra bits you want to add on.
What?
It's just your argument doesn't point to the extra bits that you want to add on that leads you to God. It just potentially points you to something being necessary, but we would agree that there is a necessary thing. Whether that is like the wave function that underlies the universe, or time itself, or time and space itself. Most atheists these days believe in an eternal universe, not one that came from something.
I mean, under minimal theism, stuff like that, or classical theism, the necessary being is like is basically like what's called God.
Yeah, but why do you get to add on being? Why would we assume being?
That's my biggest contention with it, where it says if the universe has an explanation for its existence, and this explanation itself is not a contingent fact, then that explanation is a necessary being, which we call God. But what if it's just a necessary fact? I mean, surely there can't just be one necessary fact that we can conceive of. God is not the only necessary fact we can conceive of. Like the existence of time, Ratsupa and I both hold to be necessary. So that would like this is not a true dichotomy here in the third premise.
Time is necessary?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, what are we defining necessary as?
It's self-grounded. It is basic to the universe. There is no other way it could be, like logically
Could not
speaking.
fail to exist, I think, is a good
yeah.
way to put it.
I think a time, like for instance, for time, we know time exists, and for time to not exist before this point would require a timeless state, an unchanging state, to turn into a changing time state, and that's a contradiction. A timeless, unchanging state can't become a changing time state. So because time exists at all, it has to be eternal, and what is eternal? It has to be necessary because it's uncreated.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I mean, like even so, uh,
And we know time and space are the same quote unquote fabric. So time and space being necessary, that brings me a whole universe.
you think because those two are part of the universe, that automatically makes the universe itself necessary?
Well, what all the universe is that which exists. So if all that exists is time and space, then that's all the universe is at that point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still an open field of
all
study.
that exists
like,
isn't time and
the
space.
explanation, it's still an open field of study. The explanation for things like the quantum fields, are they truly necessary, or are they the result of something that's more fundamental? I mean, there's a whole lot of shit that we still have to unpack about the universe, but I think that the universe existing as just like the space-time fabric, that seems to be pretty like well described by the syllogism that Rat Soup provided about time being necessary and eternal. And I think that if time is necessary and eternal because of its nature of being intertwined with space, that would make me think that space is also necessary and eternal.
Okay, I gotta go, but yeah, this is nice.
Good talking
All right,
to you, man.
Neil. Yep, yeah. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you. I think that Nihil had in their bio, debate, champion 5-0 or something like that.
Yeah,
that was really fun to read.
You know, some of these guys also do things like power scaling debates, though. Like legitimately, some people just really enjoy debate. It doesn't really even matter what the topic is to them.
You mean like Goku and One Punch Man or
Yes.
something like that? Okay.
Yes, there have been. Yeah,
That's well, that's fun. That's like what I would do at work. You know, who do you think like it has the highest power? Quantifying the power is, I think, just such a fun thing to do. It's like a way easier way to talk about it that removes like multiple factors. You just like give it a score.
yeah.
Strength,
It's
speed,
I think
intelligence, prep
I get
time.
frustrated with it because I tend to go by rule of cool. So when someone's like, "Oh, the lightning bolt, he dodged it," that means he moves faster than the speed of light, so he can punch through a house
There
in an
are
instant.
implications there, you know, like that's true. If you think about, hey, Vinny Bones 3, are you at least 18?
I am. I'm 29.
What god do you believe in?
I'm a deist, so
Okay.
a
So
higher
probably-
power.
Okay, so probably you're gonna want to engage with a third prompt. I'm gonna guess.
I mean, I'd say all of them. You know, is what I'd want to engage in because I don't
Gonna
think
say?
that the higher power, the god that exists, is like inherently evil. I think they're whatever that may be is
So
more
if
so.
you believe in a deistic god, I don't mean to like cut you off, but like before I lose the
Sure.
thought, like if you believe in a deistic god, I think that just means a god that's like removed, like it at least set things into motion, and then it was pretty hands off, generally speaking, unless you have a different interpretation of what it means to be a deist. But I think that would make God indifferent, and that's the alternative to being evil. I think that if God exists, he's either evil or indifferent. I don't think that he could be good. Certainly not all good. It means also
And that's
to
kind
maintain all
of my
powerful
point against the first prompt is that I don't think that you know, whatever set this all into motion is like inherently evil to like our standard. However, you know, yeah, I don't think it's inherently evil to our standard because one, they exist outside of like any like concept of like what our morals are.
They'd be
And
amoral, right? Like not a moral agent on the same level as us.
For
Like
sure.
our problems would be like little squabbles that it doesn't care about, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm sure you've heard in terms of like extraterrestrial life, where like like physicists often compare us to being like, like ants,
Right, right.
we're like compared to this being in my mind, we're like something even below ants,
That's actually an example that I give too when people talk about having a relationship with God. I'm like, no, like
Yeah, and
because it'd be
I
crazier for
never
me
want
to
to
have
put
a
anybody
relationship with an
down.
ant.
Yeah, I never want to put anybody down, but like trying to argue, um, like using theistic like points to argue the existence of God, especially to an atheist, is just kind of like null. I love how like they use like scripture to
That's a
like
big one, yeah. That's the
yeah,
real
so
thing.
like let me like use my um I don't know the way to put it,
If
but
you
like
believe
let me
this
use
was
this like
true, this
thing
would be
I
really
believe in that has
compelling.
no evidence to like make you believe in something that like
Right.
I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know
Well,
what I
it
mean?
seems like
I
it
don't.
seems like we already kind of agree with the God is evil. Like I have God is evil up here because usually my guests are somebody like a Christian or a Muslim, and they're like we're talking about their specific God, and I'm like, and like they're personally involved with us, and they're not indifferent, so they would have to be evil because it can't be good. So I don't usually expect to get a deist. I very rarely get a deist up here, but that's kind of my idea. God's not good, he's at best indifferent. So I would concede with you there. That's just not usually where the conversation goes, so I don't say indifferent.
Understood.
I would say indifference doesn't get that God out of his moral obligations. To be totally honest, the guy who doesn't care about a kid drowning and does nothing isn't better than the guy who cares about a kid drowning and does nothing. Just because one doesn't care, like the aliens to us example, like the difference of the scale of intelligence is used a lot, but like there's qualitative things that separate us from ants. Like ants, for example, if you were to remove an ant's leg, it's not going to notice per se that it lost a leg. It's not going to try to you know shift the way it moves its weight around to compensate for it. It's not going to try to seek comfort for what has occurred. It's qualitatively a different type of being than we are. We have very obvious different conscious self-aware experiences, and a deistic God is still making a choice to be indifferent to it, or unless it's an accidentally generating God.
I think that's a good
But
point.
I don't know. I don't
I
think it
think
gets.
it
I
is a
don't think
really
it God
good point.
escapes his moral
The
obligation.
reason why I still draw a difference is because when I use the word evil in this context, I'm talking about a God that acts deliberately to be malicious versus a God that doesn't really care. And you could argue that that is like evil.
That's
But like I
fair.
think like watching something bad happen and causing something bad to happen on purpose to cause suffering, those are like different things. That's kind of the distinction that I'm drawing, at least in this context. But I definitely see
Like
what
an
you're saying,
active
and you're
malevolence
making a
versus a
good point.
passive malevolence.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Passive malevolence. Yeah.
Right, and I totally get that. Well, like where you're coming from, where like if you feel that this being like has the power to like influence the life that it either like may potentially like inadvertently created, if it could benefit their life like in a good way, or like prevented their suffering, you're arguing that would, and they don't, that would make them evil, like
Or
to
even if it merely could have created the existence to be in a different manner. Like for instance, like bonobos exist. They don't commit grape amongst themselves, or in the very very rare outliers that do, are immediately destroyed by the community. It's one of the few animals with such a low instance of it. It's not because they're not there's like some blockade against it. They just don't want to. The point with this is being that like the universe could be better without impeding our free will and our choices in it. In this deistic God, if he has a choice in the matter, even if that choice is indifference, to me, it still makes him, at least like we talked about, passively malevolent.
Hmm.
And I also just don't see a good reason to think it exists.
Right. I don't know if a deistic God necessarily assumes something that's all powerful and all knowing. I don't know if that's your position or
True.
not, Vinny, but what do you think?
Yeah, I shouldn't assume that.
Well, I mean, again, I do believe that, like, you know, I've been on, I've like watched your live, listened to your live like a couple times. You know, I think the concept of time gets brought up a lot,
Yeah, it
right?
does. Lately, yeah,
So
it has
so
been.
I will say, like, you know, like, this being in my mind would exist outside of like every dimension of our universe. Okay, but let's look at it like, you know, I'm just gonna like, kind of like use time as kind of like an example. Like, imagine like you did something like 13.8 billion years ago, and like now there are these like beings that you're not even, they're so far out of your perspective, out of your mind, out of anything that you've like done because you didn't like purposefully create them. I don't exactly like blame this being. Again, this is my personal like feeling about it, so I'm not going to try to like, you know, use this as like evidence or something. But like, I wouldn't personally like blame this being for like, you know, my grandmother dying of cancer,
Mhm.
like
Right. So in
because
your
they
view,
did some,
in
because
your
they
view,
did something
like,
13.8 billion years ago.
okay, so in
You
your
know,
view, like, this deistic God, you might think that it potentially exists because, um, like maybe it's like that you think that it's necessary for the existence of the universe or something like that, but like teleology is not involved because you think that we are likely an accident.
Right, like it's not aware of what we're doing now and didn't intend necessarily for what's happening now to be what happened.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
maybe it didn't
correct.
intend for life to emerge, for instance.
Right. You know, and I mean, by their existence, though, I would argue that like that life, you know, in terms of like what we think of or like consciousness, um, is probably existent throughout. You know, I mean, I think there's probably, you know, even modern physics suggests that there's probably like a multiverse. You know, I think that life and like consciousness probably exists throughout that, not, you know, probably pretty abundantly, but it's probably pretty abundantly. um but I do want to say this, like, about, you know, like when we talk about like evidence or whatever, right? Because I believe the last time I was on, I watched this live. It was like, you know, what's your best existence? What's your best evidence for God, right? And a lot of what got brought up, you know, was, you know, I talk about syllogisms and, you know, like philosophical, you know, like, you know, conclusions. But I do want to say, like, when we talk about like the hard like evidence, or like, you know, that like modern physics, you know, presents for, you know, like the Big Bang, you know, we're talking about like you know, cosmic background radiation, you know, I personally have like a pretty hard time accepting it, you know, just for, you know, example, like the same people that'll sit there and say we know what happened down to a fraction of a second directly after the Big Bang. Okay. And then at the then, you know, a couple months later, a paper will come out and be like, there's a suggested ninth planet orbiting the sun. And it's like, okay, so we don't even know 100% what's in our own solar system, but then these same people are sitting there telling me that they know, you know, what happened at Planck time. Like, what happened 13.8 billion years ago. So
Okay.
our instruments aren't even sensitive enough to detect what's in our solar system. However,
Well, I think
we
that
can see, we can
like
see
there's
stuff
something to be
13.8
said.
billion light years away and make
I think there's
these
something to
like
be said. I get
huge
what you're saying.
conclusions.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Okay.
So there's something to be said about that. Now, when somebody talks about how we know more about space than something like the ocean, or we're able to predict a meteor that's gonna, or like a comet that's gonna come by after 2,000 years or something, or like 100 years or whatever, but we can't predict the weather next month. It seems like that's similar to what you're talking about. I think there's just far more variables with like one thing that's more local, than the thing that's like off in the distance, because there's fewer variables. The way that they calculate the Planck time and the moments just after the Big Bang has to do with. I'm gonna butcher this because I'm not an expert at even close to being an expert in the field, but they look at where the radiation is on the CMBR, and they extrapolate from that combined with the expansion. At one point, it would all converge in where certain radiation would be. And I
Right.
don't understand it fully, but like it's a little bit different than like we just didn't notice this rock that was orbiting. Like we never looked in its direction when it was passing by. I think that's very understandable.
Basically, the laws of physics are universal and can be studied from anywhere. You need to look in a very specific direction at a very specific time with a very specific device to catch planets sometimes.
I feel you. I get what you're saying, but I will say this, that like that what you just said, Ratsu, like that is technically an assumption that the laws of physics act exactly the same everywhere in the universe. Like to our best knowledge, yeah, that is true, that like that the laws of physics that we know and have observed and calculated do actually work in a galaxy
And
that's
that's just what we work with. Like
10 billion, right? And I think that's the best. That is the best way to look at it. Like we're only going to be able to do things based off what we are limited, but limited to knowing. But at the same time, like we do have to accept that. Like
So, like, if
humans-
we did some physics stuff and like did some math and realized that certain objects should exist out there in space, and then we like discovered those objects, wouldn't that be a good indication that our physics is correct? If it can like predict things about the world around us.
yeah, it would, but also like that same physics. Just for
So,
example,
like
right
finding
now,
black holes, for example, is a perfect example of this.
okay, look at dark matter. Okay, so apparently over half the matter in the universe is we literally have no freaking clue what it is, why it's there, or how it got there.
Yeah, that's fine. There's going to be
Right,
unknowns.
no,
We're
like,
going to need to study
there
more.
are a
But
lot
I'm
of-
going to point
so
out
what
that
I'm
science
saying,
has
there
only
are a
ever
lot of
been proven wrong by
assumptions,
better
there's a lot
science.
There's a lot of assumptions. There's a lot of like this is our best guess, and I just think there's a lot of people saying like, oh, this is for sure, like we know exactly what happened.
You're pointing to one of the best examples of them acknowledging a gap in knowledge.
It's like, come on.
You're
You
pointing to
don't.
one of the best examples of them acknowledging a gap in their knowledge.
Yeah, the dark matter is shrouded in a lot of mystery. It's basically all that we know about it. Is as far as I am aware. Maybe somebody can correct me. Is that there's a ton of gravity out there in the universe that it far exceeds what we would expect based on the matter that we see, based on the mass that we see. And so we just
Based
call
on the
that,
mass that we see, and then also based off of like what our
we just give it the
based off
label
what
dark matter.
but it's also based off what our like estimates about the content of the universe are based on the Big Bang.
It's more about
So,
the
like-
expansion. We don't know why expansion is continuing at the rate it does, and dark matter is the sort of the block in the equation that fills that spot. It's not a physical observation we've ever made.
Right. Yeah. So that okay. So I guess I'm gonna lead back to like why this like why all this like influences me to like be a deist. And I guess listen to your guys' like philosophical arguments. Like I don't have anything like that. I don't have like a 4 point like 1, 2, 3 like and therefore But I will just say that we as humans don't like a lot of what is said in modern physics is simply unverifiable, and as a person I see that it would just be more likely to me that a being is responsible for the creation of the universe rather than it just like all of a sudden, boom, here it is.
Why do you
And I
think
know that
that's the
like
case?
I'm not convincing you of anything.
Like,
I'm
why
just
do you
sharing
think
what
it's
I'm
more
saying.
likely? I mean, even if you don't know off the top of your head, why? Like, you genuinely feel this way that it's more likely that there's a being that caused the universe. But like, what do you think is the reason that's making you think that?
Well, I'll say this, that a lot of structure that exists in terms of like, I mean, I'm sitting here in front of my like big computer monitor, right? Like a mind organized this into what it is, and there is clear order in this monitor that I'm seeing here. Like there's boundaries, there's hard angles, there's all that.
But then you
And we
said the result
do
of the
we not
modern world was an
see that
accident too.
in the universe? Do we
You
not
said
see
this.
that in DNA? Do we not see that in
Well, hang
You said it
on.
was all an accident
Yeah,
earlier.
you
Huh?
said you described your God as having created us on accident. He did something billions of years ago, and by accident we came. That's why I asked, like, so teleology isn't a factor in this.
Oh, I see where you're coming. No, dude, you definitely you guys got me there.
Do you know what an argument from incredulity is, Vinny?
Was that?
An argument from incredulity?
Share it with me.
So an argument from incredulity is a type of fallacy that gets made when someone is like, that I don't understand how that works, so I don't think it's true. So like if I were to tell you that trees, they use their sap to generate sugars in their leaves, that they use chlorophyll, turn the sunlight into sugar, and they move it throughout their roots. And you're like, that I don't understand any of that. There's no way that's true. Like, I don't see how any of that could be true. You
I think it's
can't
more
prove that
like
that's true.
they posit an alternative because, like, based on something they don't understand to be true.
Right. Yeah. So you'd be like, oh, the tree just does it because it's magic. The tree's alive through magic.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So I could just
It's the God, it's
easily-
basically God of the gaps, essentially, is what it is.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, where I come from. So in your mind, and again, like, so like I know this whenever I like come on somewhere, I say like, oh, like I'm a DS or whatever, right? Like the proof of burden is on me to tell you guys that like something is existing rather than like yeah, 100%. It's true. But I do want to pick your brain like while I'm up here, right? And like, can you tell me exactly why you think there is definitely no higher power?
So,
Right. Like, can I just like for like a second, like take my proof of burden and like put it on you for a minute?
Time.
yeah, it's gonna boil down to time for me. But before it was time, I mean, I was thinking about this and being like, well, I would say that there's certainly no Bigfoot, there's certainly no leprechauns, there's certainly no fairies. The arguments for their existence all fail. I've never seen it. There's no evidence for it. Why am I like putting God in a separate category apart from the other obviously make believe things, right? Like it fits so neatly in that category of fables and fairy tales. It's got like all the stuff, and now because of this time thing that Rat Soup and I run pretty often,
Yeah.
it actually makes it even worse. Like Bigfoot, I don't think that Bigfoot has even a 1% chance of existing. I think it's over zero, something like, very smaller than 1% though. But I think even Bigfoot's existence is infinitely more likely than God's existence, which I still say is like more than zero, but it's infinitely more likely that Bigfoot exists because Bigfoot is just an elusive natural beast. But God entails contradictions in his description. He's outside time but can act in time. He's all, I mean, this isn't your position necessarily, but like he's all good, but he behaves in evil ways or whatever. Depending on how God is described, I've always been able to entail contradictions from it, unless it's like God simpliciter, where it's just like in name only. So if I'm this convinced that Bigfoot does not exist, and I can confidently say with my chest, without somebody trying to dog on me about how we can't know absolutes, that Bigfoot doesn't exist, and God is so far less likely than Bigfoot, I think I could comfortably say, justifiably, that God doesn't exist.
Dude, it'd be sick if Bigfoot was real.
Bigfoot
That would
touched
be
me in the
pretty
woods.
fucking cool. Well, the thing is, like, our evidence, like, we've got like these photographs, and if they're legit, then I'm inclined to think that Big feet, they're just naturally blurry and out of focus creatures. Like, if you see one, they're just gonna be naturally out of focus.
Like he's 5 feet in front of you and he's still just blurry.
Yeah, there's like some like time warpage. Maybe he's like so massively dense, he's got an event horizon that bends.
Something about a
Go
giant
away.
blurry man running around is even scarier.
Oh fuck. But what do you think about those responses? I think rat soups was one word, but you might have more to say rat soup. I don't know.
No, I kind of went into earlier, and you kind of said, Vinny, you hear us talk about it all the time already anyway. I probably don't need to
Right.
break the whole thing down again. But the long story short of it is, I think if time exists, and I'm pretty sure it does, if it's uncreated, that means there's not a creator. It's just as simple as that. And if there isn't a
Mm.
creator for time, why should I add on creator for all the other aspects? Like we're talking about, I think Bigfoot is also more likely than God because Bigfoot is basically logically possible. Like there's nothing, like he doesn't break the laws of logic to exist. In many ways, most ideas and concepts of God do. Not all of them, but most of them. If your idea of a God is just a very powerful being, I might be able to fit it in somewhere, but I just don't see a particular reason to see that it exists. And I think the existence of, or the evidence of time being eternal is a really good reason to think there isn't an ultimate creator
Yeah.
at all.
Not only that, but Bigfoot is like nomologically possible too. Like Bigfoot is just something very mundane. He doesn't have like superhuman strength necessarily. He can't like travel at the speed of light or turn invisible or fly or whatever. Like he's just a mundane natural beast that's like really good at hide and seek. That's it.
You want to hear? So, in regions where Bigfoot sightings are happening, there's also UFO sightings go up and ghost stories go up. These things all happen in clusters together,
Yeah,
like in certain time
is that
periods
at the
and
Flat
regions.
Earth convention after church? Surely, right?
Probably.
But
Yeah, I do. I do think that like Bigfoot definitely could be a possibility. Like think about all the fossil record that we have not uncovered, right? So like we so many things like just like we haven't found yet. So like what if there is like some like gigantic like bipedal like ape like running around like there's only like 10 of them left or something. But it's more possible than
if
I
there's
understand
10 of
what
them
you're saying.
left, I mean, that, like, God,
Huh?
like, technically, you're not technically wrong, but it's like so insurmountably unlikely that,
Unlikely.
yeah.
No, it's unlikely. I'm not
It's like
gonna sit here
it's
and
like
say that
running
unlikely.
between the raindrops in a thunderstorm and coming out dry. It's like that, it's logically possible, and you could technically get lucky, but it's like, what are the freaking odds of that?
Or well, yo, dude, thank you for having me on the live. I appreciate you. Uh, keep doing what you're doing. I'll probably
For
listen
sure,
every
Vin.
now and then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for
man.
coming up. You've been respectful. I appreciate you, man.
Good
Yeah,
talking
but
with you.
Yeah. Well, we don't have any guests, and viewership has been quite low. I'm thinking about maybe doing a restart and going for another half an hour or something. What do you think?
I'm up for that. Yeah.
All right, you guys, if you aren't following me already in Rat Soup, give us a follow so that you can easily find us when we come back in like a minute. I'm going to do a restart, and we'll see if we can refresh the live a little bit. I'll see y'all soon. Sunday worship is first. Boom. Fastest restart, right? I hope I'm not doing that wrong. I wonder if I like should wait longer. I just don't know why I would, unless like it knows that you're doing a strat. And boom goes the dynamite. That's Cleveland, right? Ugh, what's up?
Yeah. Hey. Maybe we'll get some more ops in here. That'd be nice. Everyone's been so nice tonight.
Somebody requesting. Hey, hopefully this just doesn't ruin it. Hey, Arcade Mass.
Alright, Mocha.
Yeah.
How
I
old are
was
you?
wondering if you wanted a little bit of sexy time with me.
Nah, not tonight.
No, you don't want to see my.
Nah. That was a perfect cutoff. You hear that? You don't want to see my.
Jesus.
Yeah, maybe come back some other time when there's nobody looking. You know, come on. Well, he also didn't. Actually, I don't know. He didn't answer the age questions. Now I feel weird about that. Nah.
He needs to wash his hair at some point, though. I'll say that. Some greasy ass hair.
All right, guys. The guest box is open. I'll drop some tunes. Oh no, we got somebody requesting. Forget the tunes. Hey, motion friend, are you at least 18?
Hi, yes, I'm an adult person. I agree with you, of course, and I think it's very based. And I wanted to say hello, and I also wanted to say that, like, I think, like, people who always comment, like, Jesus was a real person, like, they forget to read the story where Jesus was extremely anti-religious and very lefty, and he was friends with all those kinds of weird people that they are very judgmental about. And I think it's kind of strange because Jesus, according to the story, was actually a cool guy, and I think he would make this stream with you right now or something like this, you know?
Right, yeah, he would come in here and be like, yeah, my dad was a major ass, and then he made me, like, get up on that cross and dangle there because he couldn't bring himself to just, like, forgive people for not living up to the impossible standard that he set that he knew was impossible. And I was supposed to make him seem like he was good, but now it's like, I mean, I gotta just spill the truth. Yeah, that's what he
No,
would be
but
like.
in the story, he was like meeting with basically refugees, you know. He was meeting with the all kinds of weirdos and people who are sick, and all the reactions in the book are like, "Oh Jesus, no, you cannot meet with this weird person," and he's just like,
"No, you can't do
yeah.
this here."
And he's like, "No, this is just some guy," you know.
Yeah, Jesus is saving.
And also there were like very religious people, and he was like, "No, but we can all just talk to God in our head because you are all God's children. You don't need to pay the priest who is expensive." You know, that's the story, not the story that he's like, "Let's hate everybody that's different." Like, what? It's not
pretty
even
funny.
the point.
Well, thanks for
Yeah.
coming up and sharing motion, Fred. I'm gonna see if we
Yeah.
have somebody who wants to debate.
To argue, yes, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
Bye.
let's argue. All right, you have a good night. All right, let's see if maybe this person wants to argue. Oh wait,
I'm
that's
so sorry to
that looks satanic as fuck. Maybe you don't want to argue.
I'm so sorry to burst your bubble. I don't want to argue. I just want to say one thing, and then I'll get down because it's low-key late for me. I want to say one thing. I actually am a Satanist, and I'm going to tell you right now, this shit is peak. God sucks. Satan is better. Neither of them are real. I do my own lives all the time, and these people come up here and they're like, boo, you worship Satan. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, you don't know the first thing about Satanism if you think that. The Satanists who worship Satan are few and far between. Very hard to come
Yeah,
by.
if Satanists, I just call them closet Christians.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I don't really understand literal Satanism. That doesn't make much sense to me.
It's I just want to be a heretical Christian.
Yeah.
Basically.
Anywho, but all I wanted to say is this is great. I hope you have a great day, and I just want to come up here to yap for 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, you too, man. Thanks for coming up. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Alright, that was fun.
As above, so below.
Yeah. That's 2 lives in a row I've got to say Hail Satan to a Satanist. That's it.
Hell yeah.
It's really like feels good, you know.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Yaren. Are you at least 18?
Yari, if you can't speak English slow because my English is not good, okay?
Okay. Are you at least 18?
Yes.
What God do you believe in?
God from the Bible.
Okay. What's your which prompt do you want to engage with tonight?
You said God is evil.
Yes.
Okay, listen. Here I'm from Israel, okay? Here I talk from some people said God is evil because the story about Noach, okay, that kill everybody from flutes, okay? You know?
Somebody killed somebody with a flute?
He was talking Noah. He's talking the story of Noah. God killed everybody in the flood.
Oh, flood.
And that's why he's saying people may think God is evil.
Okay. Well, that's one reason.
Okay.
But there's like a litany of reasons.
Okay. Some people said me he killed children, he killed babies. You know what I'll tell him? What I said to him?
Are you about to defend baby killing?
Sounds like it.
What?
It sounds like you're about to defend killing babies. Is that accurate?
No. He said God is evil because he's killed babies and children.
Yeah.
I tell him.
Like
I
on
tell him.
purpose when he didn't need to.
Okay. I tell him who have the right to kill people. Who have the right?
Nobody.
No one.
Only God. You know why? Because God gives the life, so He can't take it.
No.
Only is. So
No.
if He kill babies, this is right. You know
That
why?
is an evil morality.
Yaren,
No,
if you saw a mother kill her baby, would you really look the other way because she gave the baby her life? Come on.
Listen. But only for God, only God can have the right to take life. Okay? Because He's given
no.
life.
I don't grant that.
Yes, He's given
you
them.
have to convince me of that.
Because who's given the life? If you believe in God, who's given the life? God. Okay?
By proxy, not even directly. My mother and my like
No.
my proxy, my father.
Who give the human the life? Who give all the life in the world? God. Okay.
Yeah, by
So,
proxy. Like he would have set the life into motion, but we know that life naturally reproduces. So God,
Okay, but
God would have been
listen.
maybe the catalyst under like creative theism, but he would have only created me by proxy.
Okay. You believe in your mom, your father, and your mother give you
Yeah.
life because
My mother would have been the
so-
direct creator of me.
Okay,
She would have
listen.
directly
Okay.
created me.
Who give you the soul? You know, the soul,
What?
your soul, my soul.
My sword?
Who? Soul, you know.
Sword? Like
Soul.
like chopping up babies or what? Like,
No,
what?
breath
What are you
of
talking?
life, you know.
Are you
The
saying
soul, like what goes to heaven?
Soul, yes. My
Soul.
soul.
Oh, I don't
You
believe
know,
in the
man, it's
soul.
not good. Okay, but if you believe in the Bible, so who give you the life?
We
soul.
don't believe
God.
in the Bible.
Okay, God give this.
I mean,
So only God can.
I guess we should try to stick to either doing internal or external here. So,
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
so
No, but-
we'll grant a soul.
So listen.
We'll grant a soul.
God, okay. Your mother give the your body, your father give the sperm, you know, but who give the soul? God, soul of life.
I just don't
So
think creating something gives you the right to destroy it.
why not? Only God. Listen. So why is that?
Because I think intelligence, I think rational agents have value.
No.
So even if I were to completely create something, let's say a computer that was an actual rational agent, like a person, it would be wrong for me to then destroy that computer, in my opinion. I don't think creating something gives you the right to destroy something when that something involved is a moral
You're not
agent.
God. You're not God. Okay. God is something else. He's know what everybody don't know. He's know even if they take his life, this is for good. You know, for good purpose.
I think it would be difficult to do an internal critique of God being evil, to be honest.
You're just labeling God as good. Like it feels like no matter what example we give of God's actions.
What happened? Yes, everything. What's going to
listen
happen?
for a second, Yaron, like, because I think that this is important here. Like, if we give examples of something that you would otherwise consider evil, but you just say that it's good, you slap the label of good on it simply because it's God doing it. That feels like an enormous special plea for God, and it feels like it's very like a vacuous judgment.
No, because you need to understand God. You need to understand God. God, all what he do is for good. Is good. Only everything what he do is good.
Can you demonstrate
so
that?
if even he take me to hell, this is good for me. You know.
What was good about killing Pharaoh's son in the Egyptian plague?
What?
What good came
Is
of
no,
that?
you know. I don't know. You don't know. Is no.
Well, then how can you say it was good?
Listen, we don't see, you know, what God's plan, you know, but only.
Right. Then you can't say it was good if you don't know his plan. But it
No,
looks on the surface to be intuitively evil.
we are believe that everything what is good, what is doing is good. Everything is art to believe that. Even for me, you know, life sucks sometimes. But this is what we need to believe. God is good, and everything what is going in my life and your life and what he's doing is good.
Yeah, that's what Loeb said. You're just defining anything that happens as good.
Right. Do you think that God could bring about his goodness without needing to kill Pharaoh's son? Do you think he's powerful enough to do that?
Yes, but we have a free choice,
right.
you know.
So then he could have chosen to get the ends of. Well, listen. He could have chosen. Listen. He could have chosen to get to the ends that his end goal, without the killing of Pharaoh's son. But he saw an opportunity to kill Pharaoh's son and found an excuse to do it. So he did that one instead. When he didn't need to. That's a major indication for me of someone who's sadistic and evil.
Listen, but we don't know what is plan. It's take the life because it's think that
if you don't know his plan, maybe he doesn't even have one. Maybe he's just flying by the seat of his pants with his swords out, chopping people to bits willy nilly. It seems like what he's doing. He changes his character from moment to moment.
No, he has plan. You see Israel exists.
You don't even know if he has a plan.
I know there's a plan. You have the plan.
What's the plan?
Redemption, you know, for everybody.
I thought you said you didn't know the plan.
No, I don't. I know. You say to me, why take their life? Listen, my niece dead before 1 year. What we said in my family, what we said. God, give God take.
What if God just redemptioned them in the first place?
What? What you said?
What if God just made it so they didn't need to be redeemed, and that he just forgives them because he felt like it?
This I don't hear you because there is music here. Yes.
Yeah,
I hear
that just
music. I
sounds
don't know what.
so. But like, rat soup. That seems like something that a good God would do, and obviously God can't do that because he's not good. That's
Yeah,
the
you're right.
whole.
You're right.
That's
No.
like the way.
So you
Only a
tell
good
me,
God
you
could
tell.
do that. Forgive
Listen,
unconditionally.
it's like this. You tell me why God take old people? Why they're not live forever? Why is take why?
Why? Why not?
Yeah, why?
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 Because
This
why?
is
I tell you
You're the
why.
one. You're the
Because
one who has the connection with God. Tell us why he doesn't do it.
I tell you why. Because this no, this thing
Oh.
that's the time to take it. Everybody here,
Oh man.
there something to say, to do, to fix in ourself, our itself. My English not good, you know. But this is the God, you know. Only He is have the right to take life.
You still
Okay.
haven't demonstrated that that's
You
the
just-
case. What gives God the right to take life?
He's give you the life.
Well, I wouldn't say that follows. I think that's a non sequitur. Just because someone gives
No.
life doesn't mean that they can take it. Because my parents give life, and that alone does not
No,
give
no,
them the.
no, no. your
Listen,
parents-
listen. My parents
It's
give
not like
life.
this.
Listen. My parents
Okay,
give life. Listen. My parents give life, but that alone does not give them the right to take life. So it can't just
No.
be the fact that he gives
No.
life. There has to be something else.
Because listen, because you not believe in the Bible. If you believe in the Bible, you understand that what we are believing. Nobody, my mom, not give you the life. He's give me the body, you know. But he give me box like a body, like he is my box. But the soul, who give me soul life? Who give me that? God, you know.
Well, does he even destroy this? Like, we're talking about the body being destroyed, though. We're not talking about the soul.
So okay. So your body, my body. My mom give me, and okay, but
And she doesn't have the right to take it. So if my mom gave me
no,
my
no,
body,
no.
if my mom gave me my
This-
body,
listen,
listen.
This is even this is even
Listen.
not my mom.
Just
This
listen.
is the nature, you know. This is the nature. This is the nature, man.
If my mom gave me my body, and that alone doesn't give her the right to take away my body, then God
No,
giving
no.
me my soul, that alone can't just
No.
be what justifies it being able to take away my
But
soul.
okay, but my mom, this is not God. Okay, God God created everything, so we have the right to do what is think. Okay. This is reality, man. This is reality,
God
man.
is God,
What?
so God can do whatever God wants because he's God.
Yes. Listen, you
That's
first.
insane.
No, because
It's
you need to
insane,
understand.
Aaron.
Listen, my niece dead before 1 year. What we say here in my family?
Mine
God give, God
too.
paid.
Hey, Yar, I'm gonna
My-
let you go. We have somebody else is requesting. This is kind of just like funny at this point. It's not going anywhere.
No, you can't go anywhere when he defines good as just being what God does.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, Burglit
Burglecut.
Sorry, thank you. Burglecut. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm
Burgermeister
over it.
Meisterburger.
Yeah,
Over
alright.
18 for sure.
What God do you believe in?
I believe in God of, I guess, the God of the Bible, not the God of the creeds. So I'm interested. I haven't heard a ton of your position. What do you mean
What do
by
you mean by
God
not the
is-
God of the creeds? I don't know what that means.
I disagree with most of the formulations of God that I'm sure you're used to hearing on here, because of the Nicene presumptions of what God is and the supreme or the perfect being theology, certain notions of creatio ex nihilo, creation out of nothing, as well as omnipotence and all-knowing. I think it could potentially create an evil God, and my assumption is that's what you're attacking here in your prompt. Is that correct?
So you said you do believe in a biblical God?
No, I do believe in a biblical God. I think the creeds have misconstrued God, and they've turned it into a Hellenistic God. I don't think the God of the Bible is that. I think they I think it's a misconstruction of what the biblical God is.
Sure. So it just kind of depends. Like, a lot of times I'll get somebody who's like a Christian, and they'll say like, "Yeah, I follow the Bible," and I'm like, "Well, I read the Bible, and God does horrendous things, so we would all agree are evil." I go that route sometimes, and then other times, I might take like a real world example, given specific attributes of God that they might hold to, like he's triomni, so he's like all powerful, all knowing, and all benevolent. So he's like.
I'd agree with you on that. Yeah, that's kind of the angle I was thinking you would go at. I think it's a good angle. I think it's actually a legitimate attack, because if God is all powerful, all knowing, and he created us out of nothing, then he's responsible directly for all the evil in the world, and he controls everything. There can't be free will. Hell is just a sick design, and anyone who goes there, it's God's automatons who went there. So I agree with that.
Do you not hold this view? Because it's rare when someone who's like an op will just immediately agree with me on that. It seems like you might not actually hold that then.
Yeah, no, I think the solve for that is I don't believe in creation. I believe what's called creatio ex materia, which I believe, when I say I'm biblical, that's what the early Christians as well as the Jews believed
because
in.
it was like without form and was chaotic and shit, and he like formed that's what it actually I think says.
Yes, you're exactly right. Out of the chaos, the chaotic waters. So it was basically pre-existing matter, and we all coexist with God. So that's one thing we share with God's attributes, is we all have eternally existed with God. But but because of that, it solves, I think, the problem of evil. And I think that's actually, like I said, that is the God of the Bible. And the creeds, what they did is they, again, adopted kind of an Hellenistic thing where it's like, oh no, God's just so powerful. You can't, any critique on that. He's just so powerful, and everything he does is good. Everything is, it's like, well, I don't know. Like,
so God,
I think God's,
in your view, God isn't all powerful, and maybe not even all knowing.
Probably all knowing. I think that's a live option in my theology. I think he's open. I believe open theism, so he probably knows everything that can be known. But God is all powerful in that anything that's logically possible, he has attained, if that makes sense. But but there's limits. God is limited. God is limited.
Okay, then he's what kind of limits other than just logic? Because I mean, there's more limits than like it really. Logic being the outlier already sort of taints the omnipotent thing, which I'm okay with. But then like there's even more, that omnipotence means like less and less until like
I agree.
We should use the word anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't believe in pure omnipotence. I think that's false. I don't think that can be. And if it is, it's an absurd world we're living in. If there's an omnipotent God, I don't think he could be all loving if he's omnipotent in that traditional notion of it. I think God can cease to be God. I believe there's eternal laws that again coexist, and God has been true to those and has learned. He's powerful because he's true to these eternal laws, essentially. And he's bound by them. I believe God could cease to be God. One of the beautiful things, what makes God worthy of our belief and faith, is that he is trustworthy because he chooses to be who he is. He's not, it's not inevitable.
Where are you getting this idea?
I'm a Latter-day Saint.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about like Mormonism. Most of what I've learned has been from South Park, obviously. So,
well, they don't go into our theology. That's more of just like kind of like clowning like the Moses story, but it's like our Moses story. It's more recent, so it seems a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, walking on water, resurrection. It's all just kind of like, oh, that's crazy. But I'm talking more about like our notions of God, and I think it pairs with the biblical notion. We reject the Nicene creeds and all those things,
So God, it's
God
just like
in the Bible is awful.
It's like God in the Bible is at least awful. I think we all have agreed. And then God in, I guess, the Book of Mormon, he just decides to be God, but he can decide to no longer be God, and he's got all this power. But I mean, I guess my thing is, does he have the power to stop harm and choose not to sometimes? Like something that's gratuitous, unnecessary harm. Is there ever a time when he decides to not intervene?
Yeah, yeah, and we don't know the exact limits of that necessarily, but we do know. So in our theology, there's we came here to face opposition. We came here willingly, right? So we didn't get forced into this existence. We all wanted to come here as part of progression, and our Savior was sent here to give us an option to kind of free us from the mistakes we'll make and to be resurrected. But ultimately, that's what's going to matter. But but one thing, part of this eternal law is honoring free will of others, and by that, bad things can happen and bad things do happen. And there are some interventions that can occur, but for the most part, a lot of the Bible, Christ was killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so was Peter, so was Paul.
16:33 says the lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That God claims to have knowledge of, a lot of things, of being able to predestine and be able to control many aspects of humanity, like down to having 2 burglars on the cross and things like this. Talks about how even the birds in the field are fed by God. There's a lot of strong ideas in the Bible of God having control of the whole world, and I don't see many verses talking about free will.
Not only that, but I just think that even if free will were a factor that I could grant, because I don't think that it can exist, and I think it's even less likely with a God. I think it's even worse, specifically with the Christian God, because of that scripture that you were talking about, Rat Soup. But if I do my best to grant it, I still think that the safety and well-being of like an innocent victim, like a child or something, is just far more important than upholding free will. Like if I'm in a situation where I know that there's an attacker that's about to just start stuffing a child with their member, and I could stop it with no harm to myself, I'm not going to be like, hang on, I don't want to interfere with this guy's free will. I don't give a fuck about the free will.
Mm-hmm.
Free will is like so not important in that situation. I would consider myself to be a piece of shit if I valued the free will of the attacker more than the free will and well-being of the victim. Like, I would stop it from happening.
Because your choice values is a choice between valuing the free will of the abuser or valuing the free will of the person being abused.
Yeah,
if you
free will
intervene,
and
you value the
well-being,
person. Yeah,
For sure.
you can't
What
value
about
both of their free will.
But what are the presupposition I had here was that what if everyone elected to come to this existence and experience this for the value proposition of it? Does that change the formulation here in your perspective?
I think it makes it interesting, but I don't think that it justifies the gratuitous harm. Like this, because we don't need this particular existence. I mean, unless God could not have made this any other way.
What if he couldn't?
If a
Like,
guy
what if
set up a
this is an essential
suicide
part of
booth
it?
on the street and said 25 cents for a hanging, would he be charged for people walking into the booth and using it?
Sorry, I'm trying to grasp the
So I'm saying even
hypothetical.
if it's voluntary, doesn't make what's happening inside of it any less awful. It doesn't really.
Yes, I would
So
agree.
it's still an optional thing. It's still like God is choosing to create an awful situation where people are tormented. And then even if we did agree to it, is it really still us if the parts that we associate with us are mostly our memories, our preferences, our
You're
things like that? So like, I don't,
collective-
if that all gets
collectively
deleted, that's not really us anymore making the decision. It's
I-
a past version of something that there may or may not be a soul that you can't find anywhere that might have a invisible connection that might make this technically us. But if it's not really my mind or my memories or my preferences making this decision for this current state that I'm in right now, then I don't really feel like I made that choice to
like a
begin with. And like I
reincarnation.
said, yeah,
Like how
yeah,
Aang,
it's
the
a
Avatar,
reincarnation.
doesn't know that he's Roku because he's like, he doesn't know that he's the Avatar. He's a completely new, different person. I'm sure you're
Because
familiar with
like
this.
what's the point of that then? You know what I mean? Like I never got that.
Yeah, I guess what I'd say is the hypothetical of coming for hanging for 25 cents, and if you choose to do it, you're hung. That I agree, that would be a problem. But I don't necessarily think that kind of lays over the theology I've laid out, because at the end, if you just look at this existence, that would be the exact case. You just have a bunch of unjust, horrible experiences and grotesque, horrible things happening by people's free will.
Could it be a different way? Is God powerful enough to make it a different way?
No, what I'm saying is there can't be. You have to let free will. There has to be opposition. There has to be this
Well,
experience.
I don't think free will is necessarily connected to suffering, and I'm not sure you can draw that line.
Well, but okay, but I'm saying sure, but let's assume it does for purposes of this
Why?
conversation.
But why? Why would I? Why would we? That's my whole. That's the whole thing I'm arguing.
What I'm saying
Why
is
would I
it's
assume that?
because it's an eternal truth. There has to be free will. This is the way to progress.
No,
is
no,
what
no.
I'm saying.
What is the what? How much suffering causes a free will? How much suffering per free will?
Those are mutually exclusive. So you
Yes,
can have
that's my
free will
point. Is
without
you have
suffering.
free exactly. So we don't need the suffering.
No, there
So
have to.
bringing up free will when you're talking about suffering is a non sequitur.
No, what I'm saying is by dint of there being free will in a situation where there is opposition and choices, people will choose horrible things and it will have negative impacts on others. The question is, did you assume the risk of coming here given the benefit proposition, which is at the end of it, none of that matters because we're all going to die. We're all eventually going to be in the grave. And what was it for? And that's what the gospel is after this is done, the rights will be made, wrongs will be made right, and we have a savior. Otherwise, this is a disgusting, sad, horrible, meaningless existence.
But the thing is that we don't need the part in the middle.
Yeah, it just seems like totally. I mean, this life would just seem totally useless. I don't know why people would choose to. I think you said for progression. I don't really know what that means. And I also don't know why there needs to be this this exaltation of free will, which is something that I don't think is actually logically like coherent. But like I also don't think that it has anything to do with whether or not there's suffering. If you have no free will, you could still like I don't believe in free will, and I still acknowledge that there's suffering in the world. And I think that suffering is something that someone who is like we'll say like all powerful, I guess, rather loosely, maximally powerful, if you want to say, if he could stop it, should stop it if he wants to maintain being omnibenevolent.
Well, I think first of all, this we don't believe in free will thing. I find just fascinating because I think it's something we all definitely experience, but people have logically said, "Well, I don't think it could logically exist." Meanwhile, we all just have this illusion of us doing it. So I don't really go down that rabbit hole. I think we all seem to agree, and even the Richard Dawkinses and Sam Harrises of the world will concede, even if they don't logically think it can exist, they still operate as if it does. So for purposes of this conversation, let's assume we at least think we're making choices, and I think we actually are in fact making
We are
legitimate
making choices. They're just not like they're just not by our free unbridled will, but we are making
I understand.
choices.
Yeah.
And like I mean I don't really know what it would mean to live as if you have free will versus to live as if you don't, because I live very similarly because I used to, and I just kind of live very very similarly than how I did.
No, that's kind of my point. That's my point. Is it's kind of a non sequitur in reality because we're all just whether it's a useful fiction or it's real, it doesn't matter because I see people kind of doing the same things.
Well, it does
So I don't
matter
really-
if it's like the main factor of like, well, suffering exists because of free will. It's like, well, if we're gonna behave very similar, whether or not there's free will, then maybe we don't need this free will. We could have no suffering potentially. Like God could just make us have our actions give us this illusion of free will, because I apparently don't care that I don't have free will, since I don't think it's even possible. So you take away this like no square circles to get rid of all the cancers. Like, yeah, sure, don't take away all my square circles. I don't care about having those. Yeah, just guide my actions and make them feel like they're coming from me, and I'm good. A perfect world. I'm happy. You're happy. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. I guess the conception is here the fall. Like if you think of the fall, which we don't take necessarily literally as gardens, but it's more of like explaining our existence. That we needed to, there was this kind of garden existence, and then we had to be kind of thrown into the situation where we knew good from evil. And simply knowing good from evil is enough. There has to be an opportunity to make those choices. And that is part of our growth. Part of spiritual growth is, was this being able to choose. And if there is no choice and it's just, playing a board game, this has to actually be decisions to be made that we have to, in order for us to grow, because ultimately this is a decision of what this life is about. What do you desire? What do you want? And we all get what we want. And that, I think what's interesting is a lot of people say, well, I can't believe you put us here. And how could we have elected to be here? But at the same time, everyone chooses to be here every day. We all choose to continue to live here. We like it. We bring children to this world still
Does
in
this-
this current
Those
existence.
of us who have, those of us who have elected to stay here fit into that category, and some of us like reluctantly and begrudgingly because like we can't bear to like that's
Yeah,
some people
we
can't
understand,
stand their own
totally.
existence and they keep it going. But Rat Soup was bringing up an interesting point too. Like, do
This doesn't address animal
animals
suffering at all.
Do animals are they included?
What do you mean? Are they included?
Are they included in the people that elected to be here?
What's his name? What's my favorite atheist online, British guy, younger guy. What's his name?
It's Alex O'Connor is who you're thinking.
Alex O'Connor. He's been harping on this, and it's a good argument. And I haven't really run it down. And he was actually debating Jacob Hansen, an LDS theologist, on this. And it's a good comment. Again, I think it's kind of, I don't see a big difference between that and the human suffering we experience. You know what I'm saying? Let's assume there's some progression for them.
Well,
and
Hugh,
some
let me break down the difference. Why I think there's a huge difference here is because, first of all, animal suffering predates humanity. So there is humans, the fall, all this human choice, the matter does not play a role in animal suffering. Animal suffering is long before humans get here. And second, animals are innocent. They don't have the ability to make moral choices. So all animal suffering is happening to innocence. And third thing, it's obligatory. It's just part of how most life on this world has to work, is by inflicting suffering on other forms of life. So all those three things are very important points about animal suffering that need to be explained by the existence of a God, in my opinion.
For sure, I guess there's some baked-in presumptions there I think are somewhat problematic. For instance, the fact they don't have any morality. That's, I think, assuming there is this sharp distinction between humans and animals, which I think contradicts the notion that humans are just animals, right? So, and what if there is some morality and there is a sentience?
Sure,
to
maybe some of them are moral
animals.
agents,
I
but
mean,
that
some of
doesn't
them-
exclude them from the problem. It
Some
doesn't
of
make
them
the
have
problem better.
something
It
like
makes
a
it worse.
proto morality, but even if we say that some of them have like just as much
Mhm.
morality or even more so than us, like I think it's pretty easy to see that most of them do not have nearly the same, maybe not even morals at all.
Totally.
Right, like most of
Let
them,
me
and
s-
they would still be included in this critique.
Yeah. Let me just say, I've heard that, and I think it's a great position, a kind of a great attack, I guess, on theology, which don't think I've run that one down yet, so I don't think I can address it very well here. But like I said, I heard it pretty recently with Alex O'Connor raising it, and it's worth looking into more. But I haven't done my homework on it yet necessarily. And as someone who eats meat, I clearly, maybe should care about it more than I do. But anyway, but you guys are great. I don't know if you have any other pushback or questions. You guys are thoughtful, and I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to chat.
Yeah, thanks for being cordial. I think that this is probably a pretty good time to wrap it up. It's 2:25 a.m. over here, so and I
jeez.
got like work and everything. So, but yeah, you've been pretty nice. A lot of it is me trying to learn where you're coming from, but thank you for explaining it in a way that's like to the point and not trying to beat around the bush and actually engaging with what we're saying, not misrepresenting us, and stating the points where you do agree. That's one thing that I will say about when I've engaged with Mormons is that they're like consistently good faith. I don't think that I can think of a time when I've interacted with a Mormon that's bad faith and isn't a pleasant conversation. So you guys at least have
I
that
appreciate
going for
that.
you.
Well, a lot of us serve missions, so we talk to a lot of people and a lot of different things, and we had to learn how to to communicate with real people of all different bents, and mostly atheists actually. So
Ah,
appreciate
fair
that,
enough,
though.
man. Yeah, thanks for coming up. I'll hope you have a good night. And 3 Pips has been a part of this community for 1 year. Let's fucking go. Thanks for coming. Hard to believe. It's been this long. Yeah. So you guys didn't come close tonight for the singing meter. That's good on you. You don't want that. So nice work. I'm gonna see if we can get a raid happening in here. Let me check on this. I haven't looked at YouTube in a while either. There's probably still nobody over there. Oh yeah, my views doubled since the last time I looked. I don't have anybody watching now, but I have 2 total viewers. So that's pretty that's awesome. I don't know how to get that to work.
What, YouTube?
I mean, like I know I should set up a vertical stream, but whenever I try to do a vertical stream, it like squashes my TikTok stream, and I'm doing something wrong, right?
Are you using OBS for it?
I am.
What a lot of people do is start through OBS first, get it set up, and then you can just send that over as a screen to TikTok Live, so you don't really have to mess with the live side of things too much, except for just like throwing your overlays over the video.
Yeah, well, I use so I have it in OBS, and my camera for the TikTok Live is my OBS virtual camera.
Okay.
So what you're seeing is sourced from OBS.
Yeah,
Except
do it
for-
the other way
except for the
around.
speeder.
See if it. Yeah, see if you can try to do it the other way around. And see if that helps.
Oh, like I don't know if I can source TikTok in OBS, but like it's worth looking into. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. Is that a possibility? Am I able to do TikTok outsourced to OBS? I feel like TikTok
Robot
is
Code is
kinda
better
like,
at this than me.
I feel like maybe they could help me out. I feel like TikTok would be really gatekeepy about that. They seem like they're like really, I don't know, like they got a grip on what they want. They seem really strict on shit.
Mm.
They almost feel like the Disney of social media sometimes.
Yeah, I could see. You know what? I wouldn't be. What if Disney buys TikTok one day? Maybe that's the game plan. Maybe that's what they're like gearing towards.
Disney's trying to consume everything.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking that Disney doesn't have a social media by now. Now that I'm thinking about it.
That would be so funny. Like, what would a good Disney social media name be? Fuck.
They own so many properties. There's so many good references.
Yeah, but I think it should be like Disney all encompassing, like star, like something like maybe something adjacent to Wish Upon a Star, because that's at the like da, 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 going over like at the beginning of every freaking Mouse House. That's pretty good.
Well, that was a show,
I
though.
sent you a House of Mouse was a show. Yeah. At the House of Mouse. So you go like, oh, I'm gonna send you a DM on Mouse House. Or like
Castle Talk.
Toontown.
Oh shit! I forgot about Toontown.
Yeah,
I used to play that so much.
I played it earlier today, and that would be a great.
It's still around.
It's being run by the devs or the fans of the game, so they're not.
Oh yeah,
they're not allowed-
the rewritten or whatever.
Yeah, and they actually remade the entire game. They didn't get rid of rewritten, but they also have Corporate Clash where they've like redone the whole thing, and the way that they like to. The player base on each of them is pretty small. Their version, the Corporate Clash, is like very small, but it's got like a cult following, and I'm a part of that. So, but I think that would be a really good social media name for it, like Toontown, Tweets, because you can maybe can you say tweets like since X isn't Twitter anymore? Shit, what if they just start calling it Twitter?
That's just full circle with it.
They could just call it
That would be
Twitter.
hilarious.
Like how Cartman in South Park, he like he started a company and named it the Washington Redskins. Because like they like put it out in the public domain to like do the right thing, and he was like, we're the Washington. He's using their logo and everything. They're like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. It's like, we do not give a fuck. Fuck you. We had
I just watched the clip the other night where Kenny gets the ninja star thrown in his eye.
That was
when they're all
Butters.
playing ninja.
By Kenny.
Yeah, Butters. Yeah, by Kenny. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's such a good episode. Ninjas.
Hey, you guys. What are you, ninjas or pussies?
Where did you guys get those?
Can't tell you. It's super secret
ninja stuff.
I always like how Crutches is the most charismatic of them all, too, despite the stutter.
Oh yeah, Jimmy. Yeah.
Jimmy, yeah.
Yeah, he's so awesome. I think his parents changed, or his last name changed, or something about him changed from his original entry in the show, because he originally showed up as a rival to Timmy. He's like, they're in scouts, and Timmy's sitting there, and they're like, now there's one scout that's very special, that's overcome a lot of adversity and deals with some handicaps, and Jimmy Vollmer, and he shows the
Hey, fellas, what's doing it?
and Timmy's pissed off because he's like,
When I was in middle school, there was a Flash game based off this episode where you could pick one to play as, and it was a fighting game.
I don't think they would say the name of it. I feel like the name,
No, I'm not going
even my
to.
impression is a little insensitive already, but like I think that the name of it is
The voice you do is distinctive enough to be that specific character, I feel like, so I think you can get away with it.
yeah, right. Yeah. Oh my god, I just fucking love South Park. Anyway, I was doing a raid.
Oh, right, yeah.
Let's do oh, hey, let's go see Yodi again.
It's a Yachty! Hey, 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 hey! Yachty, 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 yachty!
So I'll see you guys over at Yodi. That's Y-O-D.
It's a Yachty!
Yodi. If you like what I do, follow that soup as well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night for some more.
Bitch!
Bitch.
Great night, guys.
See you next time.